Hi, everybody. It's Karen Anderson here with Aortichope, and it is our week in review for week of February 14th. Before we get started, we want you to like, subscribe, hit the bells, wherever it is. On one of these days, I'll learn where it is, but you want to like and hit that bell so that you're reminded when we do additional live events like this on our YouTube channel. And I'm here with the ladies today, unless one of the gentlemen pop in, which is fine, but we've got Martha and Terry and Diane. And this is the week of Valentine's Day, and we're still in Heart Health Month and Marfan Awareness Month. So much stuff going on. Even though it was kind of a lighter week last week, we're going to dive right into it and let's just talk about it. So the first thing we had was Valentine's Day, and we do this every year, and sometimes it gets a lot more traction than others, but it was our We Are So Crazy About You Aorta, let you know. This was our day where we were asking for vascular puns, and we started off with I aorta tell you how much I love you. So not sure if any of you have a vascular pun that you can just pull out of thin air, but I've seen some doozies. Not sure.
I thought and tried to figure one out, but I'm not that witty. But there was some really cute ones that were posted, and I'm glad some people did post them.
Anybody? Martha or Diane? You should Google it because they're pretty funny. I've seen them, like they're like on the t-shirt shops. People come up with just the greatest little fun puns. I know we did our t-shirt campaign like 2 years ago, and I think it was aorta keep fighting. So anything that is I ought to ends up being aorta. So keep that in mind.
I was going to say, good to know for next year.
For favorite sayings in case we do it on one of our fundraisers. But how was all of your Valentine's Day? Did anybody do anything special? Diane?
It was nice. Just dinner. He cooked me something to eat. And, what else? Oh, he bought me some roses. And that was the end of it.
Very nice. Martha, anything happening on your end?
Well, when my husband and I first met, he brought me a rose, and I kept that rose and I put it in a little box. And every year we transfer that rose in a box to the other person, and then that person holds on to it for a year. And so we don't look at it in between. And when we lift the lid, we just see how it's doing. And it's still just fine. I have no idea why, but to me, that kind of represents our hearts continue to keep on going. And
they're still flourishing.
That's right.
It may change a little, look a little different, but it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. That's so, it's so romantic. I want to do that now. All right, Terry?
We actually went to dinner out Saturday before Valentine's Day because my husband knows I shouldn't say this live, but Valentine's Day is not one of my favorite holidays. I don't need a special day to tell my husband or tell anybody that I love them. And especially now, I tell everybody I love them because I'm here to tell them that. But the day that I like better is exactly a month from March or from April, or I'm so messed up. A month from February 14th is March 14th, which is our anniversary. So I kind of moved that to Valentine's Day.
There you go. Very nice. Well, my husband, who seems to randomly celebrate holidays, they're never near the holiday, bought me roses the week before. And then we went away the weekend of Valentine's Day weekend. And so when we came back that Sunday night on Valentine's Day, we brought him a burrito. It's kind of the extent of the actual day. However, we always celebrate that back in 2009, that was the day that we got engaged. And he surprised me by having my whole family there in Cape May on the boardwalk. They had snuck over as he was down on one knee, and we got to spend 2 nights with them in a house that we rented. So that was we always talk about that. So that was our Valentine's Day. All right, we're moving on. Let's go on to Topic Tuesday, and we brought up some more information again because it is Marfan Awareness Month. We've been sharing information from marfan.org every Tuesday, and we've asked community members that if you have Marfan to please comment with some more information, but these two slides basically show that in most cases, Marfan syndrome is inherited, which we already know, from a parent. However, in about 25% of the cases, the affected person is the first person in the family to actually get Marfan syndrome. And we did a live event with Bill Barnhart, who's one of our board members with Marfan, and he is part of this 25%. He was the very first person in his family to actually have Marfan syndrome. So he's patient X, and his oldest child of 3 children also has Marfan. And there is a 50-50 chance that once you have it, you can pass it down to your children. So it was a 1/3 in their family situation. But I actually never knew that. I just assumed you had to get it from somebody, but no, you can actually start that process in your family. So I don't know if any of you have Marfan or have relatives that have Marfan or any of the other known syndromes. No. Did you guys know that stat?
No.
It's
No.
pretty interesting, right? The other one is that people with Marfan syndrome are frequently disproportionately tall with long arms and legs and an arm span, which Bill did say that's greater than their actual height. So can you imagine stretching out your arms and measuring that tip to tip and that being longer or taller than you are tall, which is crazy. So I think that's where everybody speculated that Abraham Lincoln probably had Marfan, but it is also known that this is not 100% true or in all of the cases. There are plenty of people that are shorter in stature, not necessarily as lean, and they have Marfan also. So just some tidbits of information to learn about. And we still have another week to go to learn about Marfan syndrome. Anything you want to add to this before we click on to the next date? Okay, we're clicking on. And that brought us to Thursday, which was actually Random Acts of Kindness Day. I do love this so much. And the quote that we used was, "Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. And it only takes one person to make someone else's day." And we were asking the community to share with us what random act of kindness they either did or was done for them. So Martha, you want to start us off? Anything that rings in your ears or in your memory banks as something that was super special, that was randomly provided to you, or vice versa?
I remember being at the local recreational center, and my daughters were playing basketball, and they went into the washroom, and somebody had placed 2 tulips in a vase with a little sign saying, "To you, a random act of kindness." And that was our introduction to a random act of kindness. And it just, it was such a lovely invitation to continue that.
That's so wonderful. You just are just full of all of these wonderful ideas.
I'm just full of it.
I'm like in my feels right now, like feeling tingly. Diane, I know one for you, but I want to see if you share the same thing.
Well, the one that I was thinking of the very first time that it happened to me, but most of the time, I mean, I always try to make a point of touch someone in a certain way. You never know if they're having a bad day or what's going on. So I always make a point to do something different. At one time, I mean, there for a while, I would paint rocks and put them out. But the thing that came back to me was one day I was, I think, at Arby's or Hardee's. And I went and I was going to go pay my food, going to pay. And they says, well, the gentleman up front already paid for your food. And I never had it done to me, but I've done that a lot of times to where especially if I see a lady, behind me or with kids or something, I'll pay for their food. It's so uplifting and it's amazing what the littlest thing that you do. I mean, even if you can't pay for someone's food or a nice compliment or open the door for somebody, anything, the littlest thing that you do for somebody can touch someone's life, can change the whole aspect of their day and their mood. Even if they're being ill, I always think if somebody's being mean or grouchy or bad day, I mean, we've all ran to a person that's ill, not as a, so much being sick, but are mean or something. I always take and respond by being nice to them because you don't know what that person is going through. And it really makes a difference to the part to one time a person, was being rude, a checkout lady, and I responded being nice to her, and she broke out in tears and saying that she had lost her husband due to COVID. So you never know. So yeah, I encourage everybody to get out and do just something random, the littlest thing. You don't have to spend money. Make it come from the heart.
And you were right. I was thinking about you and those painted rocks. And the first time you told me that you would paint rocks and just leave them randomly in places, that's when I started seeing them. When I took trail walks, especially during COVID, I just would find them. I started looking for them and then I found them. And they would be by the tree, or it would look like a little fairy door that somebody nailed into the tree, and there'd be cute little rocks. And not that I never took any, it was enough for me just to read it and leave it for
Right.
somebody else. That was the way I think I felt like I paid it forward. I got what I needed from it and left it for the next person to find. So yeah.
So fun.
Yep. Terry?
I specifically remember, now that everyone was talking, I was visiting my cousin out of town, and it was again during COVID. It was when she lives in Texas, so it was when things first started opening up last year. And we went to a restaurant. She insisted we had to go to this place. It was fantastic. There happened to be two gentlemen that were also there. That was a very empty restaurant, but they were obviously in the military. They had fatigues on, and we told the waiter that we were paying for their meal, and we made sure that we got the check before they did, and we tried to get out of there before they knew, but then they found out, and it just made us feel so good that we were able to do that, whether they knew, whether they didn't know. It was just, we knew we did it, and that's what matters, because it was something, a random act of kindness. It came from our heart, and that's what it's all about. And the rocks too, I see the rocks everywhere, and I love seeing them. People just put them random places. It's great.
Right. And it just takes unfortunately, a lot of it is listening in on people's conversations and what they're doing. The other day I was at the post office and this gentleman needed like 56 cents or something ridiculous. And he said, all right, I'll go out to the car. I said, I've got it. And I just handed it over. And he was so taken back that I was just going to give the change. I'm like, it's 56 cents. I mean, why go all the way out to the car and then have to come back in? And to me, it was no big deal, but it was seemingly a huge deal for him. And I do remember early on when I was dating my husband, we were in line at the cable company, Comcast cable company. That's who we were with. And this gentleman was in line and he was just struggling so much to pay the bill, and they were going to pull the cable, and he was promising I'll have it in a couple of days. And when we walked up, we just paid his bill. And we knew that when he went in, he'd see it was paid, and maybe then he would use it for food or something else that he needed. But we knew he wasn't going to find out about it for at least a couple more weeks. But, if you can take care of it, that's great. During COVID, when I went to the Golden Arches quite a lot because there was no place else to go, I did I did the same like you, Diane. I would just ask, who's behind me? What's their bill? Here's the money. Take care of it. And you'd see people waving really hard in their, in my rear view mirror. And, they're wondering, do I know that person? Does the car look familiar? And it was their reaction. That was enough for me. I didn't need anybody to take care of me. I was just happy with the smile. So, and
Right.
I think in our world, I don't know what's better, having it done or doing it, because like you said, Diane, good point. You never know what's going on in someone's day. And I know I derive a lot of joy in giving. So I think if you can just bring that to yourself and help reduce your own stress, then just do it. Hold the door. Help the lady cross the street, anything. Well, that was our random acts of kindness day, but we still have quite a few things to talk about for the week. All right, let's talk about, it was Find Everyone Friday. And I'm not going to play the video because I might screw up something technologically. So we're just going to leave it alone. But if you get a chance, click play on the website. So creating awareness is a cornerstone for Aortic Hope. And this doesn't just mean awareness of aortic disease. It actually means awareness of our organization and other organizations and pages within the community. And 501c3 charitable organizations are run by the generosity of others. and your donations are tax deductible with these types of organizations. This means some or all of your donation are used to fund the organization's initiatives. And we are a 501c3, and 100% of all of the donations we receive are used towards our initiatives within the community. We have an open main page, but we also have private forums, for those of you that weren't aware, on Facebook. And that includes a private forum that's open to survivors or really anyone, one that's specific only for caregivers, and one that's specific for those who have lost loved ones to aortic disease. And in this link, we provided all of the other 501c3 organizations that we could think of at the time, as well as many of the other Facebook pages that provide a lot of insightful conversation pertaining to aortic disease. They help answer questions. They start really informative, thought-provoking conversations within their group. And there's a lot of other organizations that work really hard to offer an outlet for creativity and also offer a healthy escape from aortic disease as well. So they're not necessarily just focused on articles. Could be art, could be photography. You never know what you're going to get in those pages. And I was just curious to know how many of you were aware of some of these, but we go through a little bit of information here about us, but we've highlighted a few that we have had some ongoing long-term relationships with and that are a little bit more diversified. So we start off with, I'm not going to go through all of them, but with the Abdominal Aortic Aneurysm Awareness. I wasn't sure if all of you knew that there are actually 2 that are specific for abdominals that I'm aware of. And that is kind of a group in its own. Abdominal aneurysms have their own set of issues and situations. There's also one specific for people who have aneurysms with pregnancy or pregnancy-related problems. We have our Aortic Health Unlimited, which is Diane Bishop's page that she started right there, which has gone through a little change in name, but we kept up with it, thank goodness. I noticed that for sure. Dissection Life and Cardiovascular Health. I know you're all over that, Diane, because that's Kevin Songer's page. And I think you would agree that there is so many different fun things on his page, right?
Oh, very creative, and he shares a lot of the nature aspect. He brings out a lot of new things to the table. He really does.
Mm-hmm. There's somebody that's on his page that posts a lot of incredible nature photography. He's definitely a photographer. I mean, you'll get close-ups of bald eagles, and I mean, Kevin's into nature. He's an artist, and the stuff that he posts too, it's just fascinating. I mean, you would never know that this was started as a page surrounded or surrounding aortic disease, but it really is dissection life. It's just what life looks like with a dissection. Then we have a couple other nonprofit organizations, such as the AAA, well, I guess it's Abdominal Aortic Aneurysm Outreach, Aortic Bridge, which is based out of New York, run by Ben Udelman, Aortic Warriors, which is run by Peter Tsai out of California. GATA is fairly new to us as far as relationship. That's the Genetic Aortic Disorders Association of Canada. The National Organization for Aortic Awareness, unfortunately, is no longer really operating. Our friend Robert Epps did pass a few years ago, but that still holds a big breadth of information within that website. The John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, Think Aorta US, and of course, Rock from the Heart, which at least the 3 of the 4 of us are going to rock in cold Minnesota in just a short couple of days. So you should really check out those organizations. But as we mentioned, they offer a little bit of different little nuance considering the group. Is there any group that either you, Terry, or Martha, that you've found that really resonates with you, or you're just kind of perusing them all?
A lot of this is new. I thought, having found Aortic Hope, that was it. So
well, okay.
The whole world.
Well,
the world, but you know.
Check that out, because what you may find, there's just so many different little, there's different personalities, and there's, there's lids for different pots, but we're so happy to be able to provide that, especially when someone says, I had no idea. Because depending on your personal situation, if you have aneurysms, if you have something in the abdominal area, you may find another organization that can provide you something that you didn't know, or something that maybe you didn't get with a different organization, or it's just a great marriage of the two. Terry?
Kind of like Martha, I didn't know about any of this until I joined Aortichope, and then I learned about the private forum and Rock from the Heart and everything else. But what this goes to show, and there's a lot of these groups that I have been on, and I've looked, and Kevin Songer's page is actually very good. There's a lot of information that I've received from there, as well as all of our pages. But this just shows you that some people have such a negative connotation or negative vibe with social media. Something like this is amazing on social media, because you can get the word out, and you can get the word out to everyone everywhere. And if it wasn't for Facebook, I probably would not have found Aortichope. So having all this out there, having it for others to find, is just, it's the best thing ever.
And Diane, since you're listed as one of these pages, do you want to explain to everybody that's watching and those that watch us in replay a little bit about Aortic Health Unlimited?
Yes. Aortic Health Unlimited, we are a organization, and we basically, we truly believe in raising awareness on aortic dissection and it related illnesses, as well as bringing awareness to other groups. It's like what Karen says, there's something out there for everybody. There's something out there that helps you relate, or you're more comfortable with, or that you enjoy more. All these groups, different types of groups, there's something out there for everybody. But also we, concentrate a lot on supporting some of these organizations. We enjoy collaborating with Aortic Hope. I enjoy being an ambassador, and also I work also with Rock from the Heart and some other groups. And it's very important to raise awareness. So no matter, what group you choose, the most important thing is raising awareness. To me, that's the most important thing. You could save lives. And also, we solely, our main primary focus, we try to leave everything out, to everybody else got their own specialty, but we specialize on getting blood pressure cuffs to those in need, those that's going into surgery with a heart-related illness due to aortic dissection or valve replacement. And we try to simply target it with that and being there for those in need.
And you do a great job. If you ever miss anything online because you don't get a notification or you didn't get a chance to catch something, you will always catch it on Diane's page. She's like the encyclopedia, or the go-to person of what's going on in the aortic community. She's always sharing and striving really hard to make sure that everyone's information gets shared. Half the time I have an article I want to post, and either Kevin gets to it first and then Diane's resharing, and I just sit there like, well, there went that article. Everybody already seen it, but that's okay. That's okay. The point is that people see it. So you snooze, you lose. That's what happens, right? But that is part of our resources section on our website, and that is under Survivor Caregiver Resources. So just go to aortichope.org and you will find this list, or you can check it out by clicking the link on the blog post. And then that brings us to Scientific Sunday. But before I do that, we had Robert Stewart. We featured him as our Survivor series. So his written blog is up from this past Saturday. You should check it out. I just realized he was local. He had the same surgeon I had. So that tells me how he found out about aortic hope. And yeah, his story is very fascinating. He's been through a lot over the years, definitely not one who's been misdiagnosed, actually been followed very closely. But if you talk about a cat with 9 lives, this guy has some new breed that's into 10 or 11. So if you get a chance, check out his story. It will be up soon on YouTube as well. Brings us to Scientific Sunday. And it is also February, which means it's Black History Month. And we used Sunday to share information. And I'm not sure if any of you have heard of this doctor. This was new for me, about Dr. Rosalind Scott. And as outlined in her biography in the National Library of Medicine, Rosalind Sterling Scott, or Rosalind P. Sterling Scott, is the first African-American woman to be trained in thoracic surgery and the first African-American woman to be granted membership into the Society of University Surgeons, and the first Mary A. Fraley Cardiovascular Surgical Review Fellow from the Texas Heart Institute in Houston. Determined to raise the aspirations of students intimidated by discrimination in surgery, she's also a former president of Women in Thoracic Surgery and a founding member of both the Association of Black Cardiovascular and Thoracic Surgeons and the Society of Black Academic Surgeons. And if you wanted to learn more about her life's work and achievements, you can click the link. It's fascinating to read everything about her family and herself. So yeah, check out that information. There's a lot of information there that's worthy of discussion and talk. And one of the things I wanted to talk about before we get into a little bit more information about what's happening in the next couple days is some of the events that we've had and an event that's going to be coming up. So we just finished this week, that past week, with a live event with Bill Barnhart about Marfan Syndrome, and we did bingo. It was our quarterly bingo. Who was here that was able to be part of that bingo? Okay, Terry, you're muted, just to let you know. So Terry was there with bingo. So much fun. Keep your eye out for the next one, which I guess will be May. It's 10 rounds of bingo. We give away a ton of prizes. Usually there's 3 special letters that we try to form, or shapes. And we have a winner of the full card and a biggest loser as well. So if you don't win, don't worry about it. If everybody else wins, you have a 1-on-1 shot of winning, right? So there you go.
I think there was 3 of us that were in the losing, 3 or 4 of us in the losing position, and I was still a loser. I didn't even win the biggest loser.
But did you tell everybody what were you using to mark your card? Because you can't mark it permanently because it's your one and only card. But what did you use?
I was using pretzels.
So she gave up at one point and said, the heck with it. I'm just eating my pretzels.
Eating my pretzels. Yep, I was eating my markers instead because I was losing terribly. But yeah, definitely. You can use whatever you want. Coins. Some people were using Cheerios or Fruit Loops, whatever works.
Yeah.
I just happened to have a bag of pretzels, so that worked.
I'm preparing next time. I'm pulling out all of my charms from my Lucky Charms, and that's what I'm going to use. And then if I win, lucky me, I'll eat them all and grab a new bag. But
there you go.
Yeah, you got to make it fun. We have Rock from the Heart event coming up this week, and there is still time, if you're watching this live or in replay, for you to sign up. Of course, there's still time if you want to grab a flight and fly out. It's only going to be a balmy -2 on Thursday night. That's really not bad for Minnesota. But I know Terry and Diane, we're going to be there. And basically on Friday, there is a symposium, great lineup of speakers, a lot of important information that's going to be taught and shared with us. Plus, I think there's 3 or 4 survivor stories that's being shared. And then there is a recognition dinner afterwards, time for everybody to kind of get to know each other. If you cannot be there in person, you can sign up to attend everything virtually and have all of your questions answered, which is super. And then on Saturday night, there is a concert with Grand Funk Railroad. Come on. You must know a song by Grand Funk, like Locomotion.
American
right?
Band.
What's another one?
American Band.
We're an American Band.
American Band.
There's another one.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one? There's many others. I'm saying, what's the other one? I can't think of it right now because that's how my day's been. It's how my day has been. But there's another really big one. It means you got to pull out your 8-track tapes. Check it out.
I have a feeling when we're there, we'll know more than we think we know.
Yeah,
I hope.
I think so. And it won't matter because Diane's going to be dancing anyway to a beat that she's going to pick up very quickly. And the last time we were there to see Night Rangers, she came out with kitty cat ears on her head. And yeah, Diane she knows how to have a lot of fun. I had a great time in the VIP party because they had furniture on loan from Paisley Park, sofas that I knew was laid in. And so I laid in as well. That was my thing. And we are going to Paisley Park. So that's kind of fun too. So that is Rock from the Heart. Check it out, please. We do have a link on our Facebook page. Go to rockfromtheheart.org and you'll see all of those events listed. But we just added a new live Q&A that's scheduled. So I'm curious to know all of your thoughts about this. We're going to have an attorney with us on March 24th at 1 p.m. because she's in England, but she's from the United States. So we had to accommodate her time zone. And her name is Susan Trimble. And she's a practicing attorney for over 15 years. And she's going to be discussing with the community the importance of making sure we have proper end of life documentation, such as an advanced directive or living will, all of our paperwork in place. You're going to be learning and having a chance to have all of your questions answered by her. And you can post your questions online or submit an anonymous question to us on our YouTube channel. What are your thoughts about this? I did this because someone mentioned it to me and I thought, well, that makes sense. It seems important.
I think it is a very important topic. I think it's something that our minds have all gone there, and it's a difficult, very difficult subject, but you know, how to do it properly so that it's easy for the people that we love and the health professionals and the legal professionals to follow. I think that that's very important, and to have our wishes known.
Mm-hmm. Diane?
She's very right. And, you know, it's a tough conversation to have with your family and your loved ones, but it's something that really needs to be done at some point. And it's something, I'm totally honest, that I can't bring myself to complete or even know if I've done it right. But she's so right, and I'm looking forward for that day, you know, to give me some idea and, you know, to know that my feelings are valid with others. And you know, there's so much when something happens and you have an illness, a chronic illness, and well, even regardless, you know, everyone should have a living will. It's something that everyone needs to consider at some time.
Terry?
Yeah, I totally agree with everybody. I work for financial advisors. That's my full-time job, besides an aortic dissection survivor and aortichope. But my full-time job, we recommend every single one of our clients have all of their, it's called the estate documents, which would be the advanced directives, the living will, power of attorney, their last will and testament, because you want all of that prepared ahead of time. God forbid something happens. You know, the first thing they ask you when you go in for surgery, do you have an advanced directive? I know I've been asked that several times when I've gone in for surgery. So it is, I can't wait to hear what she has to say. Everybody needs to do it. It is such a hard thing to do because you think about something you don't want to think about and you don't want that to happen. But having it there, just like Diane said, Martha said, you have your wishes. Your family has to follow those wishes. So does the medical staff. And it's very, very important to have.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just like to add something that this is not, I think Diane said this, that it's not something that is, it's not common conversation with the people that you love. And having a forum or a way, a community, and being able to talk about it with that community and within that community, I think that's very foresightful of you to do that, Karen, because we don't have a whole lot of chances to do that because it is such a difficult topic.
You know, it's funny. I didn't even have mine. I think I have an advanced directive. It's so, I mean, I'm ashamed to say 7 years from my dissection and multiple surgeries for other issues before. And it took having my father pass away recently, which it's only been 12 weeks. Not that I'm necessarily counting, but it's been 12 weeks. And while my parents had all of their documentation perfectly put together, it wasn't a situation where we had to sit there and we had this reading of the will. You know, my mother and my father have it. She'll share what she wants to share as she's comfortable. More of the detail will happen whenever the day comes for her to pass. But there were key words like personal representative. Those two words in one sentence can make an entire difference in how easy and smoothly a situation in after life occurs. And I had no idea. I didn't know about when do you have to register a will, in what circumstance? And, the car was only in my dad's name, but because he listed her as personal representative, it became a lot easier, and it will be easier to transition that to her. And what happens at the bank, and when is the timing of all of this? There's just so many elements. It's incredible. So yeah, there's some bizarre sadness in saying I leave so and so my pot, or not a pot. I don't mean that. I should have said crystal ball, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it might feel awkward and weird, but and when you're gone, you're gone. The alternative is leaving a hellstorm for everybody that is there to have to pick up the pieces, in addition to dealing with the grief of you having just passed. So look at it as the last gift that you can give your family. And if you just take it for what it is a document, just like having to have a discussion with your doctor about what to expect from surgery or recovery. None of those things are pleasant, but you're going to be here having to deal with it. When you're gone, just remember, if you don't deal with it now, I promise you the terror that you're leaving for everybody else is so much greater than your uncomfortability in the moment or your tears in thinking about not being here. So once you're here, you're not here. All of the materialistic stuff really won't matter to you, but it's going to make a big difference to everybody else. And it's how everything is handled. So I'm so excited to have her come on, because I don't know the difference between a living will. Is there a difference between a living will and a different type of will? And who are your representatives? Who's the executor? What do these things mean? For the longest time, I've just put my head in the sand and I've just said, you know what? I'm just going to go, and my husband will just handle it. Just let it go. And you know what? If you don't have it in writing, there's no guarantee that anything will go the way I want it to go while I'm alive. And what am I going to do? Just haunt somebody and move stuff in the house, because I'm upset? So it's the responsible, mature thing to do. It needs to happen, because at any time we can be facing additional surgeries, as many of you know. And this stuff, it's a safeguard for your loved ones. So again, it's a gift that you can give them. And I know there's easy ways of doing it, and then having it notarized at your bank or from another notary. So I have a feeling it's not as daunting as we probably make it out to be. I think we're scared, for me, because I always thought if I did it, it's superstition. Well, then I might die. So even more reason to do it. Kind of what I'm thinking.
I think we're in a very we're in a unique position, or somewhat unique, because we've been there. Had I died on the surgical table, then that would have been the hellstorm. So this is a chance to not have that happen.
Correct.
Correct. Karen, the other thing you said, the thing you said, I just wanted to reiterate is what you said, and I think it's a perfect way to say it, is that it's the last gift you can give to your family. Yes. And it is so true. The other thing I just want to mention, and I'm sure Susan will mention it on the call, that some of these documents, depending on what state you live in or where you live in the country and out of the country, can also determine how these directives and living will should be written. And so that's something that we need to think about as well.
Yeah, that's important. That's a good point. I mean, and a lot of people don't give that a lot of thought. Just because I word it in one way in Maryland, it might be worded very differently in Alabama, and therefore carried out very differently. So, I'm sure she'll give us the tools on where we can go in our individual states and towns to find Absolutely. The appropriate paperwork and complete it. So, and then and she'll explain why it would make sense to have the assistance of an attorney versus trying to do it on your own and then have somebody look at it. But it's an exciting and extremely important event. So if you can be there, great. If not, and you have questions, let us know ahead of time at info@aortichope.org, or submit your questions that night, and we'll keep that conversation going because it's important. I'm glad we're able to offer it for everyone. So yeah, I told you it was a little bit of a shorter week this week, and I don't want to end on any kind of sad note, but it is important. So we'll end on a happy note. What's some happy things you guys want to chat about or share? Hi, our New Zealand friends. Hello. Thanks so much for dropping in. I still can't even think. I just can't wrap my brain around what time it must be. If it's 3:40. It's 3:40 here, so it's 8 a.m. tomorrow. Like,
Wow.
that's so space age. Like, you're already there. We still have the rest of the day to do today. You've already written it and you're into tomorrow. Like, isn't that weird? Maybe if I had had a fireball shot, it would be even weirder to talk about.
Ooh.
So the party begins because Bo is finally with us. Bo, you're a little late. Ladies, we're on time. We have no time to waste. We got stuff we got to do. Let's buy laundry in the washing machine.
I need to go to the gym.
Terry's leaving and heading out to the gym in a few minutes, but Bo, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. I think we're here wrapping it up. Yeah. I got stuff I got to wash, all my really, really warm stuff. But if you pack a sweater, it's just too much, It's going to be cold. Oh, it's going to be so cold.
We're going to have so much fun though. I cannot wait. And I can't wait because I want to learn more. I want to absorb as much information as I can from these first survivors, from the doctors, from you, Karen, because you were speaking. I can't wait to just absorb and take in all of that information and then party Saturday night.
Well, I'll tell you why I love this is because one, I get to go as a follower, and it's really difficult for me to find those moments and carve out those moments where I'm not somebody that's leading an organization with a group of other individuals doing this together. And I get to just, be patient, and ask questions and take notes. And the other great thing about this that Amy and Pete Johnson have done is they've gathered people together over music. And it's always easy to pull people together over music. There's just nothing sad about it. Everybody's joyful, dancing, singing, pretending to know the words. That'll be me. But they're all together. And we have a chance to see other survivors and their family members, their loved ones that support them. And so it's a great learning experience. But if you can take a moment and try to attend a symposium and look for the future, because I know Rock from the Heart might be coming to a city near you. I know they're taking a poll right now. If you can try to make it, you will have so much fun. They're just events where people get to gather. It's just so great. So great.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a virtual ticket. So do I go to a virtual party afterwards, or how does that work?
Sure. If you text me, we will FaceTime you, and I'll just walk you around the room, and you get a glass of wine. We'll clink on the screen. And I have no issue holding my phone up the whole time. That'll be so much fun.
All right. Thank you.
And you'll get a chance to see Diane at her finest moment.
Yeah.
One of us is going down first. You never know
So
who it's going to be.
Wait, y'all haven't seen me in action yet, so.
Okay, that is new. Terry is new to aortichope. Yeah, I can't wait. And I will be secretly recording it, and we'll add it to our blooper reel that will be out in the next couple years. We'll have a secret recording of Terry in action. All right. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining. I really appreciate you taking time out of your days to go over all of this information. I get to see it through a different lens when I hear you talk about it and share your opinions, and that is always greatly appreciated. Terry and Diane, 3 short days. I'll be seeing you in the frigid, frozen tundra. And to Bo and everyone, New Zealand, to everyone that watches, we really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and to make a comment and to share and get others that are not necessarily on Facebook to find out about us and have an opportunity to learn just like you do and feel supported. So thank you again. Same time, same place next week.
Same place.
Have a great week,
you.
everybody. Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.